You gotta stop playing with your life. You think you got time? Let me tell you something. The clock ain't waiting on none of us. If you keep living like you lived the last 10 years, you already know how the next 10 gonna look. Broke, stuck, confused, tired, dreaming but not doing. Enough of that. It's time to fix the next 10. Your future's created by decisions, not intentions. You can have the best intentions in the world, talk about your dreams all day, write them on sticky notes, vision boards, journals, and phone screensavers, but until you decide to act, nothing changes. Intentions are comfortable. They make you feel good in the moment. They give you a sense of movement without actually moving. But the decisions, they demand action. Decisions separate the talkers from the doers. When you decide you're tired of being broke, you start learning about money. When you decide you want to be healthy, you show up to the gym even when you're tired. When you decide to be successful, you stop wasting time and start investing in yourself. Most people live their whole lives intending to start a business, intending to write a book, intending to lose weight, intending to be better, but life passes by while they're stuck in neutral. You can't build a future on maybe. You need a moment where you say, this is it. I'm changing now. That's where power lives, in the decision, not in the delay. When you make real decisions, you cut off every excuse, every backup plan, and you lock in on a new outcome. That's when progress begins. You don't drift into a better life. You design it with choices. The people who win in life are not the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who made the hardest decisions. They left toxic relationships. They quit the wrong job. They woke up early. They said no to parties. They said yes to growth. They stopped explaining themselves and started executing. That decision is always available, but you got to take it seriously. You're always one decision away from changing your next 10 years. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is loud, exciting, and temporary. It shows up when everything feels good, when you're inspired by a video or hyped up by a quote. But discipline, that's quiet. That's what kicks in when motivation disappears. That's what shows up at 5 a.m. when the alarm goes off and you don't feel like moving. That's what keeps you consistent when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one is pushing you. Discipline is what builds champions. It's what separates people who dream from people who achieve. Because anybody can feel motivated for a day, but can you grind for a year without applause? Too many people wait to feel like it. You're not always going to feel like it. The winners don't care how they feel, they care about results. And those results come from habits, from routines, from discipline. Motivation can start the engine, but only discipline keeps the car running. It's easy to show up once, but showing up daily is where success lives. Your future isn't built in bursts of energy. It's built in quiet mornings, tough nights, and showing up when it's hard. Discipline means doing what you said you'd do long after the mood you set it in has left. It means sticking to your goals even when the excitement fades. It means pushing through boredom, fatigue, and failure because your purpose is bigger than your feelings. People who rely on motivation quit when things get hard. People who build discipline keep going because quitting is not an option. They've trained their mind to obey their purpose, not their mood. They don't just act when they feel like it. They act because they've committed to the process. That's how you build a life you're proud of, through discipline, not mood swings. Start with what you have, not with what you're missing. Too many people waiting for perfect conditions to begin. Waiting for more money, more connections, better timing, or someone to come save them. But Success doesn't come to the person with the most resources. It comes to the person who learns how to use what they've got. You don't need the best camera to start a business. You don't need a degree to become valuable. You don't need a crowd to prove you're talented. What you have in your hands right now is enough to begin the journey. The real problem is a lack of resources. It's lack of resourcefulness. People spend so much time complaining about what they don't have that they miss the opportunity to work with what's already available. The dream in your heart is not waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on your movement. You got a phone, you got Wi-Fi, you got time after work, you got a story to tell, then you got something to build with. Most successful people didn't start with more, they started with less and had the mindset to flip it. They turned pain into purpose, struggle into strength, and rejection into redirection. You can too. If you keep focusing on what's missing, you'll always feel stuck. But if you start moving with what's in your hands, doors start opening. Progress creates momentum. You take one step and the path starts revealing itself. You got to stop disqualifying yourself before the race begins. Stop thinking you need to look like somebody else's success story. Your breakthrough is hidden in your obedience, not in your perfection. You won't have all the answers when you start, and that's okay. The growth comes in the process. The opportunities show up after the effort. The right people, the right tools, the right support, they find you while you're already moving, not while you're standing still making excuses. The pain you've been through can be the power behind your progress. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants the struggle that shapes it. What you don't realize is the hardest moments of your life weren't just meant to break you, they were meant to build you. That heartbreak, that failure, that rejection, that loss, it wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of your strength. Pain is a teacher. It reveals what you're made of. It shows you your limits so you can push past them. It takes you to rock bottom so you can build from solid ground. The people who rise in life aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who turned their wounds into wisdom and their hurt into hunger. You don't have to like what you went through, but you can use it. That pain gave you perspective. It made you wiser. It forced you to look deeper, move smarter, and grow tougher. You're still standing. You're still breathing. And that means there's still purpose in your pain. Too many people run from what hurt them instead of digging into it and pulling out the gold. You learn who you are in the fire. You discover your purpose in the pit. You build resilience in the storm. You find your voice in the silence. Stop asking why it happened and start asking what it taught you, because that lesson is your gift. The very thing you thought would destroy you is what will define you if you let it. Some of the greatest speakers, leaders, creators, and innovators were forged through struggle. They didn't hide their pain. They used it. They let it fuel their discipline, sharpen their focus, and deepen their drive. That pain can become your platform, your testimony, your advantage. What once made you cry can become the reason you grind. You just have to decide to stop being a victim of your past and start being the architect of your future.